Are we ready? I'm going to lead you through this drawing experience now. You know what to do. And while you're drawing, you're going to listen to the music, which is a beautiful piece by Carlos Nakai. And he's a Native American flautist. And as we're listening to the music, you can also listen to my voice. I'm going to tell you some stories and ask you some questions. You don't need to answer them with words right now, because right now we're in that part of the brain that doesn't need words. It thinks in pictures and feelings. And so that's all you need to do is answer with that, with your feelings. And so we'll start. You're with your paper now, your paper, your pencil, a little bit of eraser, and your drawing, and your photograph that you'll be using. I want you to enter that world now of drawing, paying deep attention to what you're drawing. And I'm going to start with telling you about a legend. I love this legend, and it means especially more to me now because last summer I spent almost a month in Alaska, and I got to meet some beautiful Alaskan people, the native people in Juneau in particular, and they were the Tlingit tribe, and in particular the Raven clan. And they had a way of connecting with the ravens that was so amazing. I began to see the ravens myself in a new way. This story I'm going to tell you is very connected to that Alaskan way of thinking, the native way. I mean, the people in Alaska, the peoples that were first there, were there 10,000 years. Their peoples, their ancestors have been there for a long, long time, being with the animals. And this is one of their beautiful stories. This is actually, I believe in Inuit, it says Eskimo, where I've seen it before. It goes like this. Their connection with animals is what's so special in all the native peoples, really. So, this is a story about the very beginning of time. A long, long time ago, when animals and people lived together in harmony on the earth. A person could become an animal if he wanted to, like we did in that first lesson, right? Or an animal could become a person. And sometimes the people, the spirits on the earth were animals, and sometimes they were people. And there wasn't that much difference, because in those days, everybody spoke one language, and that language was magic. All you had to do was think a thing, and it would happen. In fact, strange consequences would happen if you said something by accident. If you said, for example, "Oh, I wish I could fly," you might start feeling feathers growing from your arms. You might start feeling the wind lifting you up, flying you into the clouds. Nobody can explain this magic. That's just the way it was. Would you like to live in a world like that? I bet you would. So would I. And guess what? In Poetry Land, we live in a world like that. So let's imagine that as you're drawing this animal, you're entering it in a way. You're entering that body. You're turning into that body. Your body is becoming that body. So what that means is you can feel the world through that skin that you're drawing. And maybe it's full of fur, or maybe it's very silky and smooth like a frog or a dolphin, or maybe it has scales like a lizard, or like a turtle's part of the turtle, I think, is kind of scaly with a big shell on the top. Or maybe you've got, how do you move? Let's think of that. How do you move through your world? Do you have padded paws that go softly and quietly through the world you're in? Do you have hooves that help you prance and leap and jump over tall bushes? Do you have wings that lift you into the sky? What does it feel like to move through the world? Maybe you're moving through water. Maybe you're climbing a tree with suction cup fingers. Maybe you've got it. Yes. How does that feel to move through that world? And what is that world made of? As in particular, all the parts. Is there rough bark and smooth grass and long grass that tickles you as you run, or sand, or what kind of world is it that you're in? And now let's imagine your senses, because they're very different. Animals, many animals smell better than we do. We don't have very good smellers. And so what would you smell in that world that you're now in that body that you're now in? Probably things from far away, faint little smells. Maybe you can smell summer coming over the hill. Maybe you can smell the tiniest flower that's just still a bud. What do you smell? What do you hear? Many animals hear better than we do. They hear higher sounds and lower sounds and quiet sounds. Open your animal ears and see what you hear. And remember, animals are not exactly as obsessive as we might think. I don't think a lion is always thinking about meat. I think a lion sometimes is feeling the sun on its fur, and sometimes it's thirsty and looking for water, and sometimes. So let's just open up all the different parts of this world for us and feel it. The last thing I'd like to ask you is what you might dream of as that creature. And then your mind can be very wild. Good. And so when you're finished, I'm going to just give you some sentence starts now. You can keep drawing as long as you want. But I'm going to tell you some sentence starts. Once I was, this is where you put your animal, with. Now what that means, you don't tell how the animal's moving with another animal or something, more like this. Once I was a tiger with dusty green eyes. That's the tiger I drew. And that was what I noticed drawing the tiger. You've noticed lots of things about your creature now. Once I was a chimpanzee with a coat the color of midnight and chocolate brown eyes. What would you say about your animal? My world was made of. Remember our rules for the color poem. We're not going to keep writing the same thing, and we're going to always give some details. I love to do what? Think about how you love to move through the world, what it felt like. I could smell, I could feel, I could hear. My dreams were filled with what? I'm going to leave this picture here as we leave. You can pause your video and let it help you write your poem. And remember, when you finished any poem you love, please put it on my website, send it to me. It doesn't have to show up anywhere else. You just paste it into the contact form and I'll see it. And I'm going to, pretty soon, I'm starting to gather quite a few. I'm going to start reading them online. I'd love to read part of your poem. And you could send me a picture of your drawing if you like to. I love how these come out. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.